Hey guys, welcome back to Real Housewives Recaps. Today we're talking Real Housewives of Beverly Hills Reunion Part 4. Real quick, I'm going to interrupt myself here because I totally forgot to mention this when I recorded this earlier. Check back tomorrow, Friday. I have a piece coming out about Meghan Markle. What a polarizing figure. I have lots of thoughts on her, so I did this whole deep dive into her and why I think she's the worst. Sorry if you like her, but even if you do, check back and watch it and let me know your thoughts on that. So that'll be hitting Friday. I believe I have it set to go live at like 1 p.m., so check back and watch that. But in the meantime, here is Real Housewives of Beverly Hills Part 4. Did you notice Kyle's face throughout this reunion? I think she thought she was on the set of another Halloween movie. I think I made this face when I saw her hair. Goodness gracious. Oh. Okay, let's get into it. So my thoughts on this were, they really did a good job of making the 4 parts stay interesting. I wasn't sure if they had enough material, but they did. And I thought Andy did a great job. I thought most of them did a great job. I'll bring up who my losers were of the reunion, but my initial thoughts, Andy summed it up. He said to Erika, people thought you were manipulating the narrative. And that's exactly how I felt. And I felt like the first, I don't know, maybe half of this reunion, that's exactly what was happening. It was a lot of woe is me for Erika. And then also Andy said, was there one thing that surprised you from the secret meeting that the girls had? And Erika said, why are they believing this stuff when I'm right here? The source is right here. I've worked hard to be open and honest. And Kyle finally grew a pair of balls for about a half a second, then they fell back off. And she said, people were afraid to ask you questions. And Andy says, it didn't go great when they asked you a question. And Erika kind of bit his head off and said, who cares? I can't win. So what did we learn from this reunion? Not much new. I mean, Erika still sucks. She is cold. She's an awful person. I just can't with her. Same thing with Rinna. I think it's time to make a change. Let's get rid of Rinna. I'm not even saying get rid of Erika. I understand that she made the story this season, but she sucks. And let's keep on Erika. Did I just say Rinna? I meant Erika. Let's keep on Erika. Let's get rid of Rinna. And let's garnish Erika's wages and give them to the victims. But yeah, just lots going on. So right out of the gate, Andy's like, when the women ask you questions that seem reasonable, you lash out at them. Yep, that's been her MO, and I'm glad he called her out. She's saying, absolutely, I'm lashing out at everyone, and why wouldn't I? So again, it's this narrative is woe is me. Let's make it about me. I'm the victim here. It's just kind of disgusting, right? Okay, I'm going to take a quick PS and say, you guys, I just found this podcast that I am absolutely loving. And it is called, sorry, I'm trying to get the name. Hold on. The Bravo Docket. I'm always listening to podcasts. This one I do recommend. It's 2 attorneys who break down all the legal cases that have come up through the Housewives and different cases. It's so interesting. It's 2 women. They're very smart, and they've done a whole bunch of information on, I just kind of learned a lot more about the Tom Girardi, Erika Jayne of it all. So I do highly recommend them. It's Bravo Docket. I use Overcast as my podcast, so that's where I found it. I'm sure it's on any podcast, but go check them out. Very interesting. They go into Teresa's case. They go into Erika's case. They even went into the Joanna Krupa case, and if you know what I'm talking about, you know why I'm laughing, where Brandi Glanville talked about, we'll just say, her odor. Hopefully you know what I'm talking about. But anyway, go check that out, Bravo Docket. It's a very good podcast. But they did get into it all, and I thought it was interesting because they talk about how much she has not been cooperating and not helpful, and that was a plot point she was making at the reunion. So it's just interesting to hear the contradictions still. And she doesn't seem to grasp why people don't believe her and why they think she's full of shit, because none of the stories make sense. I always say, make it make sense, make it make sense. Well, make it make sense. Even I know I'm jumping around. Even when they brought up the car accident, it didn't make any sense. Because the story she told here was even different than the stories we had heard before. And then when Andy questioned her about the sun and flipping his car and where does it snow, and she's like, let's not get into that. Oh, okay. It's because you don't have an answer that makes any sense at all, or a lie that you can come up with that makes any sense. And so you don't want to be questioned about that. I wish she had kept going with that, but yeah, so again, make it make sense, Erika, because right now it just doesn't. Okay, so Andy brings up the divorce, and the ladies say they don't think it was a sham. I wish, I love Sutton, and I thought she did a great job on the reunion, and she did stand up for herself. I wish she was a little more assertive about it. She tends to almost bow to Erika a little too much, and it is frustrating. They brought up all of Rinna's times where she stood up to everybody else, but she's afraid of Erika. There is a general afraidness of Erika, and I get it. It's because she's so cold, and you don't know if she's gonna bite your face off, and you don't want to be that person. I get it, but that's my note for Sutton. I thought she did a great job. I just wish she had just, I don't know, told her to pipe down, bitch, something like that. Guys, last week I was just saying, I like Crystal a lot more at the reunion, but then today, didn't love her. She said liar was a strong word when talking about Erika. No, I think it's the right word, but also, didn't you just use a strong word when Sutton walked in your room? Wasn't that her whole point? And she's like, I won't take that word back. So pot, kettle, hello. It was brought up about Bethany being the one to spread the word that Tom was out of money a couple of years ago. Kyle and Andy both said that they heard it from the same source, and then of course they flashed the Daily Mail article that it was Bethany that sent out that information. I need a lot more information. How did she find out? How did she know? And if it got over to the East Coast, what's going on here? How come so many people knew? And that seems to be the consensus on the podcast too, is so many people knew what a terrible person he was, and that he was misappropriating and all this stuff, and it happened for so long, and he was so powerful. I guess I just answered my own question, but how does that work? How did Bethany know and yet Erika didn't know? So Andy asked if Erika asked Tom if he stole from these people, and she says he doesn't acknowledge anything. It doesn't matter what he says. It doesn't matter what he says. He's incompetent. And I'm left holding the bag. So again, it's a way to make it about her. Okay, poor victim, Erika. I love that the fan called out some of the ladies. They said, Crystal, you were quiet. Kyle, you were a kiss ass. Dorit, you were duplicitous. I'm like, where's Rinna's? Rinna was the biggest kiss ass, and I'm not standing up for Kyle because I agree Kyle was too, but they all, with the exception for Sutton and Garcelle, were kind of kissing her ass, and where was that call out? I feel like Rinna got off a little too easy. Yeah, she got her time later when they called out, her shitty behavior in the past as far as Yolanda's health, which, by the way, you guys, Yolanda's been in the news again lately. How interesting is that? Tell me you've kept up with what I'm talking about with the Zayn Malik of it all, where he allegedly pushed her and called her, and I quote, a Dutch bitch. I'm sorry, that just makes me laugh, a Dutch bitch. But that's a terrible story. But anyway, so they called Rinna out on that, but I still feel like she kind of got, she got to do her fake song and dance, I'm sorry, I wish I could take it all back. Okay, let's give her the benefit of the doubt. Maybe she does feel bad, which I doubt, because sorry, I'm jumping all around, but even when Garcelle said something about apologizing to Denise, in the testimonial, she was like, that's none of your business. I do what I want. So, I don't know. I just don't buy that she has any remorse whatsoever. I think she's just all about the fame, honestly. Whatever will keep her on TV, that's what she's going to say. But I feel like she still didn't get questioned hard enough about what the hell her problem is and why she fails to, I'm sorry, we brought her on the show for a reason, right? To be the shit stirrer and to question everything. She's done a good job in the past. What the hell happened to her now? She was so misguided last season, like drilling Denise for no reason. And this season, we have a reason. And there's just, like Andy said, it's just crickets. It just didn't make any sense. Erika, why did you say allegedly Tom was unconscious? Because I got in trouble with my lawyer. I can't do an Erika impression. I mean, no. It's because you can't seem to tell the truth and you think that's going to cover your ass. It's so crazy. Again, I'm jumping all around. So they brought up the secret meeting, right? And Andy says, it doesn't go well when they try to ask you a question. And again, Erika's reply was, who cares? Well, gee, Sherlock, there's a clue that you're hard to talk to. Andy said it would make them clam up and not want to ask you stuff. And Erika, I can't win here. Oh, okay, victim. And then Rinna, talking behind people's back never works. And Andy's face was so good and his expression was so good when he said, well, I mean, Rinna. Isn't that Rinna's MO every season? I just said that. Like, that's her job, is to talk behind people's backs. Rinna says, it's true, I know it better than anybody, and then that's where we get all the flashbacks and stuff. So again, she needs to go. I've seen a huge amount of people online with the same general consensus. There's some Rinna stands out there, that's cool. I mean, you do you, but a lot of people seem to have a similar opinion. Let's get rid of Rinna. I'm here for it. Let's find somebody else. I'm ready to see her go. She brings nothing to the show. We see the scene that they've shown every preview of every reunion where Erika says, can someone please back me the F up here? And Andy calls her a piece of work. I've never met anybody like you, which is his nice way of smiling and calling her a bitch to her face, which I totally love. And Erika says she understands her story is something else. And then, again, we go into this insane story of cars rolling over, a different version that I had heard before. So, yeah, I just want to hear, I know it's been done, but I want to hear where somebody puts audio, all the audio up of all the different stories she's told of this insane multiple car crashes. Make it make sense. Erika, let's see. Oh, she explains the story about, I'm not even going to go back over it all, but the flip phone and stuff. And, he can't find his way. He doesn't know where he is. And Andy's like, can't you find my phone? She says, Andy, he's got a flip phone. Keep up. I mean, again, she's just a walking contradiction. She's like, ask me things, but then when they ask her things, she acts like an asshole about it. So that's pretty much it for the reunion. I am glad that it was a 4-parter. I think they kept it entertaining. Do I feel satisfied? No, because Erika sucks and we're not going to get what we want, right? She's not going to sit there and all of a sudden say, you know what? I'm a jerk. I allegedly, I knew what was happening. I spent $14 million or $20 million, depending on who you ask, on my Amex card. I didn't bother to ask where it was coming from. Totally fine, right? No problem. How do you spend $20 million on an Amex card? I can't wrap my head around those numbers, but anywho, so anyway, that was it for the reunion. I feel like I was all over the place. Sorry about that. It's the 4th part. You gotta cut me some slack here, but good overall. Again, my standouts. I love Garcelle. I love Sutton. I understand why they have to keep Erika on the show. Let's ditch Rinna. Dorit, I hear people online calling for Dorit to move on, but I like Dorit. I'm okay with her staying. She wasn't great this season, I'll give you that. So maybe let's bring her back, but I don't know. Just different. But my thoughts and prayers are with her family. That's horrible what she just went through. That really is truly terrible. Crystal, I'm totally down for her to have a second season. You know how things go. People get different in their second season, so I am Curious to see how the second season affects her. Love Sutton. I think she's hilarious. Like, I don't know. I'm not trying to be hateful or mean when I say this, but I want to go through life that rich and that stupid. I don't know. Stupid might not be the word. I shouldn't call her stupid, but that flighty, I guess. She just comes off as flighty to me, or clueless or something, but oh, must be nice. Kyle, I've never been a huge fan of, so if they want to move on from Kyle, I am here for it. She didn't bug me as bad this season, but I don't know. I still don't know exactly what she adds to the table. Love Garcelle. Keep her on. Kathy, I'm here for. Bring her back. I've had some mixed emotions. I mean, I've had some people with mixed emotions in the comments, which kind of surprised me. I thought everybody loved Kathy. Some people are so-so on her. I get it. She's good as a friend of. I don't think she brings heavy storylines, but I think she's funny to watch. So, again, I want to go through life that rich and that clueless about things and just have people do things for me. Must be nice. Anyway, you guys, thank you for everything. I really appreciate it. And check back tomorrow, Friday. I will have a juicy one up. I'm going to put up the Meghan Markle piece that I did where we kind of deep dive into what all's going on there, and I know how polarizing she is, so stay tuned for that. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I hope you guys have a wonderful week and weekend, and I will talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.